Summary of the novel called Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Introduction. Pride and Prejudice is a novel written by Jane Austen and published in 1813, is one of the most beloved novels in English literature. Set in the early 19th century, the novel follows Elizabeth Bennet, one of 5 sisters, as she navigates issues of manners, upbringing, morality, education, and marriage in the landed gentry of Regency-era England. The story critically examines the societal pressures placed on women to secure a marriage and explores the themes of love, reputation, and class. Setting and main characters: Elizabeth Bennet, the intelligent, witty, and independent protagonist who values personal happiness and integrity over societal expectations. Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, a wealthy and reserved gentleman who initially appears proud and aloof but reveals a deep capacity for love and generosity. Jane Bennet, Elizabeth's beautiful and kind-hearted elder sister. Mr. Charles Bingley, Darcy's affable and wealthy friend who falls in love with Jane Bennet. Mr. Bennet, the sarcastic and detached father of the Bennet family. Mrs. Bennet, the frivolous and anxious mother, obsessed with marrying off her daughters. Mr. Collins, a pompous clergyman and the Bennets' heir who proposes to Elizabeth. George Wickham, a charming militia officer with a dubious past and a key figure in Elizabeth's evolving perception of Darcy. Lady Catherine de Bourgh, Darcy's arrogant and domineering aunt. Plot summary. Volume 1. Introduction to the Bennet family. The novel opens with the famous line, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife." This sets the tone for the central theme of marriage. The Bennet family, with 5 daughters, Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia, faces financial insecurity due to the lack of a male heir. Their estate, Longbourn, is entailed to Mr. Collins, a distant cousin, a rival of Mr. Bingley and Mr. Darcy. Mr. Bingley, a wealthy bachelor, rents Netherfield Park, bringing his friend Mr. Darcy. At a local ball, Mr. Bingley is immediately taken with Jane Bennet. However, Mr. Darcy's aloof and arrogant demeanor offends Elizabeth, setting up a dynamic of prejudice against Darcy's perceived pride. Jane and Bingley's relationship. Jane's developing relationship with Bingley is encouraged by all, but Bingley's sisters and Darcy express reservations about her lower social status. Elizabeth's initial dislike for Darcy is solidified when she overhears him slighting her looks and status. Mr. Collins' proposal. Mr. Collins visits the Bennets with the intention of finding a wife among the Bennet sisters. After being rejected by Jane, who is expected to marry Bingley, he proposes to Elizabeth, who refuses him despite the financial security it would bring. Mr. Collins then proposes to Charlotte Lucas, Elizabeth's friend, who pragmatically accepts him. Wickham's allegations against Darcy. George Wickham, a charming militia officer, confides in Elizabeth, alleging that Darcy wronged him by denying him a living promised by Darcy's late father. This further entrenches Elizabeth's negative opinion of Darcy. Volume 2. Jane's visit to London and Bingley's departure. Jane visits the Bingleys in London, but Miss Bingley, Bingley's sister, is rude to her, and Jane realizes that Bingley has left town. She returns home heartbroken. Elizabeth visits Charlotte, now married to Mr. Collins, and encounters Darcy again. Darcy's first proposal during her stay at Rosings Park, the estate of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Elizabeth encounters Darcy frequently. Darcy unexpectedly proposes to Elizabeth, expressing his love, but also emphasizing the inferiority of her family. Shocked and offended by his condescending manner, Elizabeth rejects him and rebukes him for his role in separating Jane and Bingley and for his mistreatment of Wickham. Darcy's letter. The next day, Darcy hands Elizabeth a letter. In it, he explains his actions. He separated Jane and Bingley because he believed Jane was indifferent to Bingley and because of the impropriety of the Bennet family. He also reveals Wickham's true nature, explaining that Wickham tried to elope with Darcy's young sister, Georgiana, to gain her fortune. Elizabeth's prejudices begin to crumble as she re-evaluates Darcy's actions and character. Pemberley visit. Elizabeth tours Darcy's estate, Pemberley, with her aunt and uncle, the gardeners. She is impressed by the estate's beauty and by the housekeeper's praise of Darcy's character. Unexpectedly, Darcy arrives and is remarkably courteous, further altering Elizabeth's perception of him. He introduces her to his sister, Georgiana, and treats the gardeners with great respect. Volume 3. Lydia's elopement. Elizabeth's youngest sister, Lydia, elopes with Wickham, causing a scandal. Darcy quietly intervenes, finding the couple and ensuring they marry, thus preserving the Bennet family's reputation. Elizabeth learns of Darcy's role in Lydia's rescue from her aunt, Mrs. Gardiner, who informs her that Darcy not only tracked down Lydia and Wickham but also paid off Wickham's considerable debts. This act of generosity profoundly impacts Elizabeth's feelings towards Darcy, as it reveals his true character and depth of feeling for her. Bingley returns. Mr. Bingley, encouraged by Darcy, returns to Netherfield and resumes his courtship of Jane. They become engaged, bringing great joy to the Bennet family, though Mrs. Bennet's exuberance is tempered by the simultaneous anxiety over Lydia's situation. Lady Catherine's interference. Lady Catherine de Bourgh, having heard rumors of an impending engagement between Darcy and Elizabeth, visits Longbourn to confront Elizabeth. She demands Elizabeth renounce any intention of marrying Darcy, as Lady Catherine has long intended Darcy to marry her own daughter, and Elizabeth refuses to comply, asserting her independence and right to make her own choices. Darcy's second proposal. Darcy, encouraged by Elizabeth's refusal to be intimidated by Lady Catherine, visits Longbourn and proposes to Elizabeth again, this time with a clear understanding of her feelings. Elizabeth, having overcome her initial prejudices and recognizing Darcy's true worth and affection, accepts his proposal. Their engagement represents the triumph of mutual respect and love over societal pressures and misunderstandings. Conclusion. The novel concludes with the marriages of Jane to Bingley and Elizabeth to Darcy. The Bennet family's fortunes are significantly improved, and the story ends on a note of reconciliation and understanding. Elizabeth and Darcy's union, built on mutual respect and admiration, stands as a testament to the novel's themes of overcoming pride and prejudice. Themes and analysis. Love and marriage. Austen's novel explores various aspects of love and marriage, particularly the pressures women face to marry well. Through the contrasting relationships in the story, Austen critiques the transactional nature of marriage in her time and advocates for unions based on mutual respect and affection. Elizabeth and Darcy. Their relationship evolves from initial misunderstandings and prejudices to mutual admiration and love. Their union exemplifies a marriage based on equality, where both partners challenge and improve each other. Jane and Bingley. Their relationship is characterized by mutual attraction and gentle affection. However, it also highlights the vulnerabilities of relationships subjected to external influences and societal pressures. Charlotte and Mr. Collins. This marriage is portrayed as pragmatic rather than romantic, emphasizing the economic and social pressures on women to secure financial stability through marriage. Social class and reputation. Social class and reputation are central to the conflicts and character dynamics in Pride and Prejudice. The novel critiques the rigid class structures and the importance placed on social standing. Darcy and Elizabeth. Darcy's initial pride in his social status and Elizabeth's prejudice against his haughtiness create barriers that they must overcome. Their eventual union symbolizes the transcendence of class boundaries and the recognition of individual worth. The Bennet family. The Bennet family's lower social standing and Mrs. Bennet's inappropriate behavior are sources of embarrassment and obstacles to advantageous marriages for the Bennet sisters. Austen uses these elements to highlight the societal emphasis on reputation and decorum. Prejudice and self-awareness. The novel's title reflects the central theme of overcoming prejudice and achieving self-awareness. Both Darcy and Elizabeth must confront and overcome their flaws. Elizabeth. Her initial prejudice against Darcy is based on misunderstandings and societal expectations. Her journey towards self-awareness involves recognizing her own biases and misjudgments. Darcy. His pride in his social status and initial dismissiveness of Elizabeth reveal his own prejudices. His transformation involves recognizing and addressing these flaws, leading to his personal growth and ability to win Elizabeth's love. Individuality and social expectations. Austen's characters grapple with balancing individuality with societal expectations. Elizabeth, in particular, embodies the tension between personal desires and social norms. Elizabeth. Her wit, independence, and refusal to conform to societal expectations make her a distinctive and appealing character. Her rejection of Mr. Collins' proposal, despite the financial security it would bring, highlights her commitment to personal integrity. Charlotte. In contrast, Charlotte's pragmatic acceptance of Mr. Collins' proposal reflects the harsh realities faced by women in Austen's time. Her choice underscores the limited options available to women and the societal pressure to marry for security rather than love. Character development. Austen's nuanced character development drives the narrative and themes of Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth Bennet. Elizabeth's journey is one of self-discovery and growth. Her sharp wit and strong sense of morality guide her actions, but she must learn to temper her judgments with empathy and understanding. Darcy. Darcy's transformation from a proud and aloof gentleman to a loving and considerate partner is central to the novel. His willingness to change and his acts of kindness reveal his true character. Jane Bennet. Jane's gentle and forgiving nature contrasts with Elizabeth's more critical approach. Her character demonstrates the virtues of kindness and patience. Bennet. Mr. Bennet's sarcastic detachment serves as both comic relief and a critique of his failure to adequately manage his family's affairs. Mrs. Bennet. Her obsession with marrying off her daughters and her lack of propriety highlight the societal pressures on women and the often absurd lengths to which they must go to secure their futures. Conclusion. Pride and Prejudice remains a timeless exploration of human relationships, social norms, and the journey towards self-awareness. Jane Austen's keen observations and sharp wit provide a critical yet affectionate portrayal of her society. The novel's enduring appeal lies in its rich characterizations, engaging narrative, and the universal themes of love, class, and personal growth. Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy's story is more than a romantic tale. It is a profound commentary on the importance of overcoming personal flaws and societal prejudices to find true happiness and understanding. Austen's novel continues to resonate with readers, offering insights into the complexities of human nature and the enduring quest for genuine connection and self-realization.